This should be played at high volume.
Welcome to Outta Pocket. Here's your host, Michael Davis.
The chase for the cup is on, and if you're looking to light the lamp, nothing beats the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. This week, all North Carolina customers can place a pregame moneyline bet on Carolina. If they lead by at least 2 goals at any time during the game, you win, even if they end up losing the game. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Tobacco Road. New customers bet $5 and get 200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code Tobacco Road only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. One early win per opt-in customer. Max bets limits apply. Token expires at the start of the game. See dkng.co/ice for wagering eligibility and terms. It's time to get out of pocket. I'm your host, Michael Davis, joined by the guy who was on Friday afternoon as well, Carsen Williams, joined by my co-host from the Cat Have, Shannon Smith at podcast_Smitty, produced by the one and only Desmond Johnson. Also, we saw a comment pop up on the screen from Peyton Burton from Everything College Basketball. Yo, you guys can be a part of the show just like Peyton just did and get your own shout out, because you guys can comment on our YouTube channel. The link is posted all over our socials, Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, the LinkedIn, all of the places. So go to our YouTube channel, comment, and we'll get you a part of this show. But guys, we had some big news come on after we went off air on Friday afternoon. And it just so happened that Darvin Ham and the entire Lakers coaching staff was fired. And I put out a video on our socials for Out Pocket, Insta at Out Pocket _TRSR, and got a lot of flack for what I said. But guys, Darvin Ham has been fired. I want to ask you guys, was this fair? Was he to blame for the Lakers' problems? Because, again, I caught a lot of flack because I blamed more the players than I did Darvin Ham. Carsen, what was your reaction to this firing?
I don't have a problem with the firing. I think he deserved to be fired. I put a lot of the Lakers' regular season troubles on him, just poor rotational issues and poor time management. And he really just lost the respect of the locker room. And then it was just poor team management and construction. So, yeah, I do put a lot of that on him, and them getting the 7th seed, which ultimately was like their undoing, because they had no chance against Denver. But that's also my next point is I don't think he had a lot to do with the playoff loss, just in that they would have lost either way. Like, it didn't really matter who their coach was. I didn't think he did everything perfect in the playoffs. I also didn't think he was really the coach anymore in the playoffs. It was really LeBron running the show now. That game, I don't know if it was game 3 or game 4, but the Nuggets had one run, and I just really thought he should have called timeout, and that happened a couple times. That was really my only problem with him in the playoffs. But it would have happened either way. I mean, the Lakers were just outmatched. They have, poor point of attack defense, so they couldn't really do anything against Murray. Just bad roster construction, a bad bench, just really no help out of LeBron and AD. And they were going against the best player in the league, the best offensive player ever, and the highest offensive peak ever. So they just had no chance, I don't really put that on Darvin Ham.
Carsen has always been vocal about his love for Nikola Jokic and putting him on such a high pedestal. I'm sure the Carsenites enjoyed that. They've started making their way to the YouTube comments. And also Derek Polly, giving myself and Shannon a shout out for doing commentary for Squared Circle Champions. That is up on YouTube. It's not on Tobacco Road's channel. It's on the Squared Circle Champions channel. And I hyped it up a little bit on our Instagram story that one of these guys got a haircut, and doesn't look like it was Dez. Shannon, we would like to congratulate you on your haircut. You looking fresh as always.
Looking slick.
And it looks like the Lakers are getting a fresh new head coach. What's your reaction on this?
I saw this coming. I hate that Darvin Ham had to wear a lot of what he's wore in the past couple of weeks. But I think if you've been watching the Lakers basketball over the past month and a half, 2 months, you would have saw this coming because a lot of his rotations have not been that well. They didn't put Ruri into the starting lineup until the tail end of the year, which didn't make a lot of sense to me because Ruri actually is a very good defender. Ruri plays that four very, very well, and he was an exciting player. You know, guys like Austin Reeves not really getting a lot of rotations in. I get the fact that you've got a feed me more mentality in LeBron James, which, of course, why not? You know, I can't sit here and say that I wouldn't either as a coach, but they tune that man out. You know, in pro sports, you have to understand that the locker room is the most important place you have to control. If you cannot control the locker room in any pro sport, and I mean, that goes in sports in general, but in pro sports more than anything, if you can't control that locker room, you're getting out of here because you've got a lot of ego. You've got a lot of professional guys who've been doing it for years. And if you can't control that locker room as a head coach, forget about it. You're out of here. He couldn't do that. He couldn't do it during their playoff series with Denver when they let a 20-point lead go. And that's on the players more than it is the coach. But the coach is making those adjustments. The coach is all plays. The coach is getting that morale set for those players. And he failed to do that. So you got to go and everybody's got to go with him.
Now, to provide a little bit more context about what I posted on social media after Out of Pocket went off air and we got this news about Darvin Ham, this isn't like a one-time thing with LeBron coaches. Like, LeBron just has a way. The only coach who hasn't been fired during LeBron's playing career is Eric Spoelstra. That's 8 of 9 coaches that have been fired because of, you know, what Shannon just said of like, you know, he's not getting it done. He's not doing the coaching adjustments. Dez, as more Carsenites run wild in the YouTube section right now, what were your thoughts? Because you're the Lakers guy on the panel.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised, not so much from the performance of Darvin Ham, but just the resume of LeBron James. Like you said, he's had 9 head coaches in 21 years. If you break it down, he's had a head coach every 2.5 years of his career. Like that. I was watching First Take this morning before we came on here, and Shannon Sharp and Kendrick Perkins, who are the 2 of the biggest LeBron James fans out there, Shannon was still trying to defend LeBron on this. Kendrick Perkins almost kind of flipped completely and was like, look, this is almost enough for me to take him out of the GOAT conversation because there's no accountability. The clip you put on Instagram was talking about Michael Wilbon, talking about how LeBron never accounts for himself when it comes to losing these series. And I think Kendrick made an excellent point this morning I hadn't really thought about because he's been playing so well. The dude's still averaging 25 points a game at age 39 or whatever. He's an athletic marvel.
Incredible.
But I think the longer LeBron plays, the more it's going to hurt his legacy because, again, I've said on this show before, I don't expect LeBron to make it back to the finals at this point, especially if he stays in L.A. Each year that goes by that he doesn't make the finals, yet he sets the expectation for himself to get there, is just going to dent his overall resume in terms of how many years he had a chance to get there and win it and only did it 4 times with stacked teams. Like, it just, the longer he lingers, you're a hero long enough until you become the villain or whatever the saying.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what's happening with LeBron right now. In terms of Darvin Ham, the dude took him to the Western Conference Finals last year as a 7th seed out of the play-in, and they made a trade mid-season, and he got that group together and figured out a way to get them all the way there. They just ran into a better team. This year, they ran into the same team. The only team that's beaten them has been Denver. So it's like, was that Darvin Ham's fault? And why fire him now? Like, what was it exactly about that, the way that series ended with Denver, that made you look at Darvin Ham and go, we need to go in a different direction? Like, that to me, and plus the subliminals throughout the year, really his career at the podium for LeBron in terms of poking at them to trade players and do this and that. And he's never satisfied. He's never satisfied with what he has around him. He's always trying to tip the scale. And I think that's what's always getting me off on, because I love LeBron. I'm a LeBron fan. I've followed him his whole career, high school onward. But it feels like he's always trying to put his finger on the scale to tip it towards his narrative. And I think that's the problem here. And that's what's going on. Darvin Ham didn't deserve to get fired by the Lakers, but it doesn't surprise me that he did.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note because the Lakers isn't the only head coaching vacancy in the NBA right now. The Charlotte Hornets are also looking for their next head coach. Now, a little later on, we're going to do our That Age Well segment of who is this next Lakers head coach. But just in terms of that Lakers job becoming open, I feel like both the Lakers and Hornets, one name I've heard is JJ Redick is on both of their radars.
Yeah, he interviewed with the Hornets last week, if I'm not mistaken. So
how could this affect Charlotte's ability to sign the head coach that they want, or would they rather go to the Lakers and coach them?
I don't know if it really affects Charlotte at all, because whatever candidate, if they have to choose between LA and Charlotte, LA is going to be the number one choice. So it's not like they're choosing between two great plates of food here. It's it's either the Lakers or it's Charlotte. So it's like, right. I will say this though, especially with the panel we have on today, watching the NBA playoffs this weekend, it made me feel optimistic about Charlotte, because the teams that are actually good, like Minnesota, OKC, the Knicks, the Pacers, the Magic, the Cavs, they're all young. They're all young, just like Charlotte. Like, we're sitting there feeling bad about ourselves about the Hornets. And I'm like, what would have happened if LaMelo played 75 games? What would have happened if Mark Williams was available for 80 games? Like, those two with Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller can compete in this Eastern Conference. None of them are older than the age of 23. Like, we got to start looking at the core of what we have. Well, Bridges might be 25 by this point, 26. But we got to look at the core of what we have and compare it to these other teams and stop feeling sorry for ourselves. And like, look, we've been drafting at the top of these drafts just like OKC and Minnesota and everybody else. Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball were in the same class. Like, they were in the top three. So, like, there's no reason, there's no more excuses for Charlotte not to be able to compete. This year and the past 2 years has been injury. But I'm looking forward to them getting this right. And I've actually gravitated towards a person for a coach for Charlotte, but I'll save it for.
But you gotta look at this right here, though, Des. Those teams that you said, Denver, Minnesota, Charlotte, are teams that have to draft effectively. They're not a big market.
Right.
They're not going to get the big free agency. They're not going to get any of those guys wanting to come to them like New York and LA and all those big markets. They have to get the draft right. And look at Minnesota. They got the draft right. They got a Rudy Gobert when they traded all their draft picks. Now
we clowned them.
Mm-hmm.
We clowned them too. It was 5 first round.
I thought that was the worst trade in NBA history.
Look at them now.
Whoa.
And plus,
Really?
we did. We were calling it one of the worst trades ever, because we were like, Rudy Gobert, like, what are you doing?
Look what happened.
And now look at it, because if Minnesota's going to be a 1 seed or a 2 seed for the next 4 or 5 years, those first round picks don't even matter. Those are pick 32, pick 33. I mean, so it's like, we didn't even think of it that way. Nobody expected Anthony Edwards to become this. Look, no. I wasn't going to bring this up. But look, if you know, if you old school and you're watching Anthony Edwards, you've seen this before. Like, this is different. This is not comparing LeBron to Jordan, who's the best or whatever. Anthony Edwards is him. He is next. And the difference between him and LeBron, he has the same killer instinct Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan had.
Yes.
Like, he is in your face. Like, he from the first whistle, like, and the way he moves, man, his footwork, it looks like Jordan. Beautiful. Like, literally, I have not said that about anybody other than Kobe Bryant. But Kobe Bryant looked like a player trying to imitate Jordan. Anthony Edwards looks like Jordan's son. Like, he looks literally like for real. Like, I was trying to talk myself out of it during the game, and I'm just like watching it like, damn, this dude's the best two-way player in the game right now. Like, did you see the block he had on that break? He literally jumped backwards on a fast break and blocked it with his left hand. Like, do you understand how hard that is to do? And his head was over the rim. Like,
yes.
I'm sorry.
He really is. He's insane. And it's just like,
if you're an old fan out there who's been watching the game for a long time, you want somebody to be better than Mike. I want LeBron.
Yeah, but you want it the right way. You don't want him out there going, I'm the greatest. Yeah. Let us decide. We're supposed to decide that, not you. And that's what throws people off from LeBron. Exactly. He keeps trying to, that kind of stuff. You don't need to do that. Like,
I mean, his Twitter is King
Yeah, I mean,
James.
I don't
Like, he's
really
been
care
doing
about
this
all
since
of that.
18.
He controls the
we
narrative.
want somebody who's confident until that person is confident, and then we don't want somebody who's confident. It's crazy.
We don't-
But
we don't
we don't even need to get into all of that because I could go on and on and on. Anthony Edwards is him though. He really is that
He
one.
really is.
I mean,
He's a beast.
fundamentally, he's just like super sound too. For somebody this young, he's so sound fundamentally defensively.
That's what made Jordan Jordan. That's what
that
people
one
understand.
play where he came around to Jokic screen, switched off onto Jokic, and then went back to Murray and blocked him at the free throw line.
Yeah.
That is a all pro defensive play. He is truthfully incredible.
Who's a better two-way player right now in the NBA?
Who?
Than
I thought you were comparing
Ant.
somebody.
No, I'm saying who is a better player? Tatum, maybe? Like, I don't know if he's better. I don't know if I'd take him.
No, I'm not taking Tatum anymore.
I want Ant all day.
Yeah. Kawhi came down the court, and who else?
You could say this playoff run in specifically Anthony Davis, but I mean in total I wouldn't put Anthony Davis offensively at least. There's a large defensive gap there, but offensively Anthony Edwards just smokes him.
But if you have not watched Anthony Edwards play, and I'm subject to that because I didn't get a chance to watch them a whole lot because their games were really late when they were on. They're playing at 7 p.m. Tonight against Denver, and I picked Minnesota to win that first game on Friday, and I'm thinking about picking them again tonight because they can't. They have too much for Jokic. Like, they have too many big men. When Denver lost to the Lakers in the bubble, it was when the Lakers had JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, and Anthony Davis. They had three dudes that were 6'10" or taller that they could throw at them. Minnesota has the same thing. Naz Reid, Gobert, and Cat.
Dwight Howard, the Jokic stopper. Bring him back, Genie Buzz.
He was a former defensive player of the league. I mean, and he was still doing his job on that team. Actually, I bet they wish they still had him. They'd probably still be playing, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, so I know Des picked Minnesota in game one. Very good job. That did age well. But Carsen, I know you're a big Jokic guy. Where are you leaning with this series?
I'm still giving it to Denver right now. I jotted down just a couple notes. Anthony Edwards, 43, 7, 3 on 59, 43, 100 splits, 2 blocks, 1 steal. That's what we expect from him now. There's no, that's what he's going to get. KCP is the only person on Denver who is supposed to be able to stay in front of him. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. He can't stay in front of him. I mean, it's Anthony Edwards is going to get his. So it comes down to stopping everybody else. Cat had 20 points on good efficiency. Cat is one of the greatest shooting big men ever. So kind of expect that from him too. Mike Conley had 14 on good efficiency. Mike Conley is somebody who I think you can slow down. Naz Reid had 16 on good efficiency off the bench. Naz Reid has been incredible all year. Jaden Daniels had a 0 piece, so that kind of evens that out. Now let's go to the Nuggets. We have Jokic had an uncharacteristic bad game. 32, 8, and 9 is still incredible, but he was on 11 and 25 shooting and 2 for 9.
That's not a bad game, though. That's the thing.
For Jokic, it is. For Jokic, it is.
He's
11 for 25 and 2 from 9 for 3 is bad for Jokic. He didn't have a triple-double. That's a bad game for Jokic.
That's a bad game for anybody.
That's what I'm talking about.
32 points.
That's what I'm talking about. That Jokic is on another planet offensively. If you're having 32, 8, and 9, and it's a bad game,
well, somebody else from the free throw line. Like, I mean, you
he
can't.
had 10 points.
It's like you got to face him.
10 points from the free throw line.
Cat got 2 fouls in the second half within like 5 seconds of each other on Jokic. Like, I mean, a lot of that's just him going to the free throw line and just hitting his free throws. Jokic is Jokic. He's going to get what he's going to get. But I think what the Timberwolves are showing is that you don't have to figure out what to do with Jokic to beat the Nuggets. That's what, and I think that's where the Lakers failed. The Lakers were so concentrated on trying to figure out how to stop Jokic that Jamal Murray and Porter and Gordon and everybody else went off.
Yeah.
Minnesota has enough to be like, okay, Jokic, go get your 35. The key assist with Jokic isn't his points, it's the assists.
Yes.
If he gets over double-digit assists, then you have a serious problem because that means everybody is scoring. But if he's 32, 8-7, like Carsen said, you have a chance to win that game because no one else is really scoring. It's just Jokic. And Jokic is just one dude. Like, he's having to play 40 minutes against 3 dudes, 6'10" or taller. There's just waves of dudes, like, just guarding them, wearing them down. He said the other night that he needs a clone of himself for the series in order to be able to do it.
He really does.
He knows game 1 on that Denver's in trouble. Denver's in danger.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota matches up with Denver probably better than anybody since Denver took off.
The Lakers from the bubble, like I said, they were the only ones that had those enough dudes off the bench that were tall enough to push them around. They had enough. They had 18 fouls to give up against Jokic, basically.
You got to
wore him down.
You have to keep him on the post. If he is in the post and he's efficient in the post, which is one of those reasons why you need to put Jokic out there shooting 15 and 18 feet, even though he is dangerous. And we talked about this last year because I watched enough out of pockets while I was waiting for this show to come back on. So that was what did it. If you can put Jokic out there shooting 15, 18 feet, which the percentage, and I get what Carsen's saying, his shooting percentage was not good. And that's not a Jokic game. If he's not shooting above 50 from the field, then it's not a good game for him because he's a back to type of guy. And the facilitating is what does it for him. So Porter Jr. is not hitting shots. Gordon, all those guys are not hitting shots. And that's not good. I mean, and they have the guys that can switch out. Minnesota can match up better with them, with the guys switching out. And that's going to kill Jokic because he's going to have to play double duty. And he's not built like that because he's a big guy.
It's going to be the first time we kind of see a team put Jokic to the test in terms of endurance. Because he's going to have to play big minutes for Denver to stay in this game.
And he's going to have to run, too. Minnesota's a pretty quick team with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is the best, I think, other than Giannis. Also, Giannis might be a better two-way player. That's the only person I think I would put in his conversation.
When Giannis can play. I mean, Giannis is up there. You got to put Giannis in there.
Give him a year. Give him a year.
I agree. I think Ant will end up being better than Giannis. But this series is going to come down really to Michael Porter Jr. He's the only mismatch I can really find for Denver, being 16 and shooting the way that he is. Already, though, Michael Porter Jr. didn't shoot under 50% one time in the Lakers series. Out of 5 games, he did not shoot under 50% once. He already did against Minnesota, which, I mean, that's kind of expected, 50% is really good to be shooting for 5 games when you're a shooter like that. Right. But Michael Porter Jr. is tall enough to shoot over most of these Denver players. I mean, or most of these Minnesota players, except for Cat. And Cat, I mean, you can't put Cat on him because then he's going to drive by him. But he's got to play great. He's got to play like he did against the Lakers, and he didn't do that in game 1. But what I'm saying, the reason I'm still picking Denver, all of this stuff happened for the Nuggets. Bad Jokic game. MPJ didn't play like he has against the Lakers. Aaron Gordon only had 3 rebounds. That's Aaron Gordon's bread and butter. Murray had below average efficiency. They still only lost by 7. And it was a close game all the way in.
And it's going to be like every game like that, though, Carsen. Every game
it really is. Every game is going to be tight, but I think that the Nuggets will play better, and I think that Minnesota will play worse.
Yeah, that would we'll be watching this series throughout the week and seeing what happens if Nikola Jokic has met his kryptonite. But I know we started the show at the beginning of the day to talk about Darvin Ham being fired from the Lakers. Now there's this huge opening, so it's only fitting that we end the show asking you guys to make sure this ages well. Who do you think will be the Lakers head coach? We only got a couple minutes left here on the show before people get back from their lunch break. Shannon, I'll start with you. Who do you think is the next coach of this historic franchise?
Now, I want to go ahead and start off by cussing out Instagram by giving me some fake news saying his job, man. And I was mad as could be because I thought it really happened. But the more I think about it, I don't want to say JJ because him and LeBron have the podcast. And I don't know if that's still going to continue or not. But a part of me does say that it probably will happen. But with that being said, I'm not going to say him. I'm going to go ahead and say Tyronn Lue, because everyone forgot about Tyronn Lue having good chemistry with LeBron as a coach at one point in time. I do want to say that. Now, he's going to be going across town away from the Clippers. And I think that it might be okay that he leave the Clippers with all that was going on with the Clippers right now. But I'll go ahead and say Tyronn Lue out of respect, and not saying that JJ is going to do it right out the gate, because I want him to go to Charlotte. But I'll say Tyronn Lue.
All right, Carson, what's your pick?
You guys are gonna like this coming from me. I jotted down a few candidates. Mike Budenholzer, Tyronn Lue, JJ Redick. I don't think it's going to be any of them, because LeBron needs a scapegoat. And the only person who I think could be a good scapegoat is Kenny Addison. He was a finalist for the Lakers in 2022. He's got experience under Steve Kerr, but he's already got that meltdown with the Nets, and it was not I don't think it was even a Kenny Addison meltdown. But that Nets team already didn't work. If LeBron needs a scapegoat, it's not going to be JJ Redick. They're too good of friends. It's not going to be Tyronn Lue, because he's championship proven, and he has already been a scapegoat once. And it won't be Mike Budenholzer, because Mike Budenholzer is too good of a coach. He can't be a scapegoat. I think it's going to have to be Kenny Addison.
All right. Des, what's your pick?
So I'm going to go completely left field here, because I'm looking at okay, so LeBron's be going to year 22 next year, right? And at this point, he's just he's chasing ghosts. He's chasing legacies. He's chasing MJ. He's chasing, the greats or whatnot. What's something that could happen that could help catapult him back into this conversation of GOAT? And I'm like,
back.
What if, because I feel like he's not there as much as he was with the firing of Darvin Ham and the previous coaches too. Like we said at the beginning of the show, he's a top 10 all-time player, top 5 all-time player, but GOAT, I don't know. He kind of knocked himself down a notch. But what he could do is go up to the front office and be like, I know who I want my next head coach to be. Me. Let LeBron James be the player coach. He already is anyway. Bill Russell won his last title with the Boston Celtics as player coach. He was the first African-American coach in NBA history. Matter of fact, I think professional sports history, when he won it in 69 or 70, whatever. LeBron's already mapping out the plays in the huddle. LeBron's already dictating who's on the roster. LeBron's pretty much the GM at this point too. They run all decisions through him. Let LeBron be the coach. And then that way, say he wins, they go win a title with LeBron as the player coach. That's a whole other conversation that you're entering in with LeBron. Yeah, he's now re-entered the chat, and he's come back with some hardware. And he did it as the coach, the actual official coach. Make LeBron James the player coach.
Now, you know good and well what's going to happen if LeBron is the coach.
What?
The coach that is.
How's he going to fire himself, guys?
He'll retire. He'll just retire. He'll leave. He'll disappear.
That's the ball. No way. No.
Now this is hilarious. I was contemplating in my head. I was like, I don't know if I want to go the JJ route, even though that's a big possibility. I was like, maybe Juwan Howard, maybe Terry Stotts, because Stotts was a finalist when they hired Darvin Ham. But honestly, let's see LeBron as player coach officially.
That'd be great.
Because he's already the head coach.
He already is.
It's just a running joke for the past 15 years. I mean, that's why all these coaches keep getting fired, because they're not listening to LeBron in the huddle. So why not just eliminate all that? Put LeBron as player coach, give him a coaching staff or whatnot. So when he's on the court, they can still, dictate traffic or whatever. I don't think it's as far-fetched as people might think when you first hear it. Why not? Everyone considers him one of the top basketball minds of all time. If not him, it probably will be JJ Redick, because JJ shares the same kind of basketball mind as LeBron and will defer to LeBron, which is what LeBron's wanted this whole time. But JJ's the type of personality where he won't defer for long. He's not going to sit back and let LeBron be the coach in name only. Make LeBron the coach, man. Make LeBron the Lakers coach.
Is that allowed? Can they do that again?
I believe so. I don't think there's any rule against it.
I don't think there's a rule against it.
Has anybody ever tried to do it?
Since Russell?
I don't think since Russell.
I don't think so.
Nobody really has the
the gumption.
Yeah, nobody has the gumption to be player coach, really.
Yeah, As Des looks that up, we're here in our final minute of Out of Pocket this afternoon. Thank you guys for tuning in, by the way. All the Carsen Knights running wild. The podcast Smidians running wild as well.
Ooh, I like that.
Thank you. Yes, the Smidians. Hey, I dubbed the Carsen Knights
You did.
about a year ago. The Smidians as
It doesn't
well.
look like it's happened since the 70s, but it's not illegal or anything. And actually, Bill Russell won 2 titles as player coach, 68 and 69, and was all NBA team both years and all defensive team in 69. So I'm just saying.
And we'll come up with a cool one for Des fans, but the Tobacco Roadies, we might throw that in the hat. But for myself, Michael Davis, Carson Williams, Shane Smith, Desmond Johnson, this has been Out of Pocket for your Monday lunch break. We'll be back tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time for more NBA talk. And maybe we have a new head coach or player coach when we come back on air. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow at 12:30.